Welcome to D-Boys TV. My camera's just turned off literally as soon as I was about to come in. But obviously, as you can hear, I am here. Obviously, we are back again for obviously another hat show. It's went on to the other camera, so bear with me a second. I'll sort that out. But obviously, it is episode 120 of the hat show. And obviously, in this one, we'll obviously be getting into the Wolves game, where we did get our first point in the Premier League. There you go, I'm back again. And then obviously we will be getting into the Exeter game, previewing that tomorrow in the third round. When we spoke about it, I realised a couple of hours after, when I look back at it, that I put round 4, even though it's round 3. And surprisingly, no one, spotted it in the comments and said about it. But yeah, I looked back at that and I was like, oh, obviously we put the clips and that on TikTok. I was like, I really want to do that. Didn't even get the round right. Do you know what I mean? But it's one of them. But like always, I'm joined with my dad. How are we, Dad?
Yeah, all good, mate. I feel good.
Yeah.
Cool.
I hope you're well as well. But yeah, obviously the Wolves game. Let's get straight into it. So obviously we got our first point in the Premier League. Obviously building up to it, I said, can we get something out of it? Whether that was a point, 3 points. Like I said, when I predicted the game going into it, at the start of the season, when I saw all the games on the calendar, West Ham was the first one I thought we could have got at least a point out of. Looking back at it, we should have. And then this was the next one, I looked at and thought we could get something. Obviously, we did. And yeah, the lineup in this one, was a bit of a change of formation, which was obviously needed. So obviously, Kaminsky kept his place in goal, which obviously we both felt was the right thing to do. Give him another chance. A lot of games previously, like we've mentioned, Chelsea, Brighton, he's prevented it from being even more. And then the back three was Burke, Lockyer, and Bell. So that was obviously interesting. Obviously, Bell, in that centre back role, it seemed again, which was interesting to me. Doughty on the left side, Kabore on the right. Good to see Doughty's continuing to play, because he's been wicked. We've spoke about it off here. With in our opinion, right now he's probably the player, not of the season, because there's still a long way to go, but the best player so far. And then obviously the midfield was Nakamba and Lokonga. So it's interesting to see both of them at home. I thought we'd see one of them. Obviously, I went with Nakamba. But it's interesting to see both of them. That was very, okay. And then the other three were Chio. Good to see him finally starting. He's deserved it. Again, one of them players that looks very hungry when he's come on. Brown, again, deserves to keep his place, after that performance against Fulham. Again, another player that's been, knocking on the door. And then obviously Morris, which is one that you are going to put in. And then as for the bench, Elijah Anderson. Anderson was an interesting one that he was on the bench. Berry, Chong, so was Chong to a certain extent for me as well. Giles, Krul, Menji, Ruddock, and Woodrow. So good bench. Obviously when it comes to that depth as well that you need, in the Premier League. But yeah, like I say, the lineup to me, I didn't mind it. I was surprised that Anderson didn't start, over Bell, for example, and then, Nakamba and Lokonga together. Away from home, I'd understand it more, but, it got us a result in the end. So, yeah, decent lineup. I like the the way it was Chio, Brown, and Morris as well. That's a very good attack. So overall, I was fairly happy with it, to be honest. What was your thoughts on the lineup when you saw it, Doug?
Yeah, pretty similar. Obviously, we expected Giles to not start. Chong wasn't quite cutting it in the previous game and that. Wanted Chio to start. Bell, I don't know when we're going to give him. Well, we'll give him a rest tomorrow, but I can see why he was played. Because again, being at home, like he was making runs forward and helping out and things like that. I think it was more. It's just a formation. Like I don't know what it. According to match of the day, it's 5-4-1. Other sites were like it's 4-3-3 or whatever it was. But yeah, no, it was good to see. Like I think it was more of a 5-4-1 lineup, but we didn't need to play like we was all over them. So it kind of was more of a 4-3-3 kind of thing. Chio starting was good, and Morris kind of sort of the lone striker. And then the strong bench, yeah. So yeah, it's a good lineup.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely. And, like I've said, and, we've said it as well, over the past previous weeks, we've seen that we need to change formation. We expect it to be similar at home. And that's why I was surprised in the sense that it was Nakamba and Lokonga because, they're both more sort of, they'll do that job just in front of the defence. But it was still good. But then at the same time, Lokonga's on loan. So these loan players, like I say, you want to play them as much as you can, for the season. So, yeah, that was that. Let's go through some comments. Big up to Stephen. He says, big up Ty, big up yourself. Oh my God, Hanno violating his own team. Camera gone like Chelsea's goals. Oh dear. Steve says, big up to you as well, Dad. Big up to Chris as well. He says, big up, lads. Hope you're well. Yeah, I'm not sure if you saw, mate, but the questions you did ask, I wasn't able to actually ask the Wolves fan because he wasn't literally on it. He just managed to do a pre-recorded, but big up for him anyway, and I hope you're well as well, mate. Big up to Chelsea fan. Says big up people, big up yourself. So there you go with that. But yeah, moving on to the first half. What a start. What a start it was to this game. First 20 minutes, even longer, but the 20 was the standout. We were all over and we were having chances left, right, and centre. Morris had that chance. I actually think the cutting he done was better than the actual shot because it was just lovely. Obviously off the post, very unlucky. We know he's capable of doing that. Throughout his time at Luton, he has scored a few goals outside the box. Standout one was the defeat we took to West Brom, where he scored a very good goal in that game to open things up. And we had a few other chances. Doughty was putting some wicked crosses into the box. There was a time he did shoot as well. It did come off Morris. Annoyingly, it probably would have went in because Sarr was actually diving, the way the ball wasn't going. So, we were having chances. And, it was similar in a sense to what we have seen. Not the sense of, us dominating like that because we haven't quite seen that yet, I'd say, in the Premier League, but just a sense of having the chances and not being able to bury them. But they were very unlucky, very unlucky chances. And yeah, it's a brilliant start to this game, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think just the way we set up, that they underestimated us, definitely. They probably based that on a little bit of the friendly and the performances they have had in halves or moments against Man United and Liverpool. But this is like the most collective sort of team sort of work rate and etc. that we used to see, and obviously previously in the Championship, etc. But in the Premier League, this is the first time we've seen that properly, and it was good to see, and that'll give them a lot of confidence, and it shows that we can compete because they have got good technical players. We discussed this. We stopped them playing. They didn't know how to counter us really, and he's like, their manager's like, oh, you just didn't turn, no, you just didn't expect, he didn't have to get out of it. So it worked well. Our attacking players played really well. They did, so chances, yeah, loads. Possession as well, which is quite, obviously possession doesn't win you games, but normally in the last previous games we've hardly had any possession, and we had a hell of a lot more possession. That was good to see. Yeah, Morris unlucky again. It's nice that he's having the confidence to shoot and do that in the Premier League as well. I'd say something he's probably been working on. And yeah, like the outlets, Chio, Doughty, look good, and a lot of confidence. Defensively, there was a lot of confidence as well. So yeah, pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, no, and going back to the possession thing as well. Even in the Championship, we didn't really have possession more than other teams. So it was not. I don't want to say surprising in the sense because we're at home, but like you say, Wolves are that team possession base. They are good on the ball, sort of thing. Good at having the ball, sort of thing.
We didn't let him do it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that you learn from that. Like, don't, especially you can do that at home. Away, maybe not so much. Play the way we can.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly that.
And I think the Canbar and the Congo helped with that massively, and I can see why they both started because I only watched up to 65 minutes and then I had to go. I could see them, breaking up play, not letting their midfielders get hold of the ball, etc. So yeah, first half best so far this season, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. The breakup play from them. But the next talking point I'm going to go into was their red card. So that is the next big talking point, I'd say. For me, it's definitely a red card. You can't go in with that intent, on a player. People are trying to say, oh, look, he's tangled his legs up, rare tear. At the end of the day, you can't kick out at someone like that. It's the right decision. So, red card for me. How did you feel about it?
Of course, it's a red card because he's kicked out at him. If it was the other way around, we'd have been, we'd have been like, oh, what are you doing? If Lockie had done that, we'd be like, what are you doing? So yeah, he get tangled in his legs and that. But again, it's that attitude kind of, what are you doing? Like, you're a little looting player, and they're rattling them up. That's what you need to be doing. And then they react. They was already getting petulant before that when they were like conceding corners and things going, what's going on here? What's going on here? It reminded me of like when Andy Ruiz was smacking the shit out of Anthony Joshua. He didn't know what was going on. That's the way they were acting, and it was only a matter of time really. And Lockie, yeah, he's clever at that. It's shit out, so there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe more than what it was, but welcome to the Premier League. Can't beat them, join them. So they all do it. We've seen that already this weekend. You flick someone's nose, that's it. They're out cold, mate. So and that intent, and you have to for it because VAR's there. That's why players do overreact because they know it'll be looked at. They overreact because they want it to them to see the intent. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, red card, their own downfall. It's quite comical that he was sort of waiting to see if VAR would go, no, actually, it weren't that hard. It's a yellow, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then but sometimes it's difficult to play against 10 men. We've gone down to 10 men before, still won games. So it's not a given. And especially as it was just before half time, so they're going to come out and it stopped them maybe getting more of a foothold into the game because the way we were playing. But it is what it is, So they can't dispute that. So then they obviously dispute the penalty incident instead, trying to cover up for their. They just couldn't get hold of us. So that's the next thing they're going to go to. We dominated the game from what I from what I saw. And I've obviously checked the stats and that at the end. I've watched highlights. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. But like I say, very good. First half. It was just what we have seen. To be fair, it weren't disappointing that we weren't scoring in a sense though compared to certain other games. It was just unlucky, and going into that second half, obviously Wolves did take the lead in the 50th minute. Me, I stand by it. And everyone said, "Oh, why are you saying it shouldn't have stood tear?" Well, if you actually look back at it, when Doughty's played the ball, he shouldn't have passed it there. I'll be honest. Nakamba, where he's tried to go, the referee's in the way, and I've seen it in previous games. If that's any other team, or the top six, as they say, they're stopping that free kick or drop ball.
Yeah, I'll tell you what the problem is there. Like, if it had hit the referee, obviously it would have been stopped straight away. The referee knew that, and that is the case, but he let it go on too long. See, and that we discussed this another thing where I can't remember what incident it was. Maybe in the previous game, he let it go on too long, and once he's let it go on too, because Lockyer was ahead of Pedro, so he should have dealt with him. Really, in my opinion, he's not got a pace, but he was ahead of him. He should have just took him out, or just wouldn't have been a red. And that would probably stopped it, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, he let it go on to what he probably presumed that Lockyer would end up getting the ball. That's going to happen. And it is what it is. But he's a good fizz. He's their best player, quality finish. Took out both of Burke and him at the same time. But for me, Lockyer should have just slid in, just tried to, to get the ball, take him out, whatever. He'd only got a yellow card for it, worst. Or maybe the referee would have been like, well, actually, it's kind of my, So, it's what it is. But that's a lesson learned as well, in my opinion. But I still felt like we could get back into the game. Yeah, it's frustrating, but it didn't feel like previous games were, and their heads didn't go down. They slightly, but then they just carried on, switched like they knew it was home. The fans helped, and
it didn't go into that. It didn't feel like the killer, the killer off.
Yeah, because we knew they had 10 men as well still. And the way they celebrated it was quite embarrassing. Bring it on. More of that at Kenilworth Road, please. Certain teams, they'll just come there and they'll be too professional. You know that anyway. But other teams will have that exact same attitude, and that's a problem. Especially when your manager's coming out at the end of the game and go, we would control that game. No, you didn't. You lost. You didn't have any control anyway, and any control that you might have gained, you lost it when you got your player sent off. When you play, muggy comment.
Yeah,
you won't be there.
No, exactly. Just waffling, absolute waffling. But that's what most of the managers do when they come to Kenilworth Road. You've seen it over the years. But what the Sunderland one said last season. Yeah. Look where that football's ended up getting us. Compared to them. But anyway, less said about that. But yeah, the goal, like I say, it was a good finish. Neto, he's a quality player. I said that going into it. He's the player we definitely have to watch out for. He was the main one causing threats for them. A lot, even in that first half. When they were going forward, not necessarily having chances, but going forward. He was getting on the end of them, trying to do stuff, and it was a good finish. I agree with you. Lockyer should have dealt better with it. And I just had that feeling as soon as Nakamba's not managed to get to it, they're going to go on and score, just from what I've seen, obviously it was a not similar incident, but another incident where it should have been stopped against Fulham with the handball and they went on to score from that. You called it then. So I was thinking to myself, watching it's going to be a similar thing there. But yeah, obviously I took the lead. Like I say, it wasn't the killer. I always felt we were going to get back into it. Just with the way we were playing in the game, and if we didn't get anything from the game, I would have been annoyed because how well we did play. But obviously we made a change. Ruddock for Lukonga, someone we were saying that we would start. Just the way again he's looked hungry when he's come on, and the way he's been breaking up play, passing the ball across out wide and making things happen. He come on for Lukonga, and then not too long after, obviously we scored the penalty. It is a penalty for me. People are trying to say it's not. Again, it is for me because you can't. For me, you can't just have your hand up that high. Imagine if we're further out wide and we're crossing it in. All right, there's more chance he won't actually get it with his hand. But you can't just have your hand up like that. It's not like he's put it behind his. He could have done that. He could have done that for me. Put it behind his back. But yeah, it's bounced up. But again, it's a penalty for me. And even to the people that are saying it's not, good riddance. Because the amount of times we've been robbed this season already, the West Ham game, didn't even look at it. And in the Fulham game, it's a handball in the build up to the goal. So that's my thoughts on it. What did you make of the penalty, Dud? Do you think it was a penalty as well?
Yeah, it was a penalty. My computer's going to restart in about 10 minutes, so beware of that. I can't.
So hopefully, we'll jump into the player ratings, and then I'll be able to do that bit.
Yeah, it was because they're most of the opposition's match of the day. Them mugs there have been before as soon as Luton got into the Premier League, they've been written a little paragraph to say anything negative you can say, spin it on it, put it on there. It's ludicrous just to stand out. Of course, it ain't. I've seen other penalties given all day long in the Premier League like that. At the end of the day, their argument is it come off of his foot. He couldn't do anything about it. But that's not what the rule states. The rule states if the player's making his body big enough to block, and it hits his hand, it's a penalty. So just deal with it. And some fans might be like, oh yeah, they've only to go against certain teams and that. Well, what? Luton are a big team now, biggest team in the Premier League, are they? Like,
exactly.
Make your mind up. They just don't like it. As simple as that.
No.
It was penalty.
No, absolutely. I was proper shouting at the TV.
If it is against us, I would have said the same. It's unlucky that it come off of him like that, but his hands.
How high his hand is. That's the thing, isn't it? For me,
and his hand. It wasn't like, it was there, or
exactly.
When it hit his hand as well, it was. There was forward momentum if you watch it properly. So deal with it. It's a penalty, and you had the opportunity to save the penalty. You had the opportunity to go on and get a winning goal, or whatever. You didn't. So stop just focusing on that. If that's your mentality, then you are going to struggle.
Yeah, that's facts. Facts.
Yeah, and like I say, we were owed one then anyway.
Yeah, no, 100%. And obviously, Morris stepped up second time this season, and this was a really good penalty. Really good penalty.
Same place as well.
Yeah, I actually like this one even more because it was right in the corner.
Yeah.
It was a wicked penalty. I always had confidence with him, and again, it was similar to how I felt about the game anyway. I felt we were always going to get back into it. And penalties are a very good way to get, back into it in the sense of having a higher chance of scoring, or higher chance, sorry. And like I say, it was a great penalty, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Good run up. Worked perfectly. Obviously, I don't know if that's going to work consistently against certain keepers. But Saar wasn't having a good game anyway. Obviously, there was an incident where they were messing around at the back. Yeah. If we'd have scored from that, that Chio chance where they passed it around the back and he just nicked in, they forced it for a corner or whatever. If we'd have done that, we'd have been getting slaughtered on Match of the Day, or that's nice, schoolboy defended and that. They weren't even mentioned. Little things like that. And I only watched it because obviously I wanted to see more of the game. So it is annoying. But that shows, considering what you got to think about their efforts against Man United. I watched that game. Yeah, they were good. So if you could just switch it up a bit, especially at home, like we are doing, things are looking better. So yeah.
Yeah, no, apologies. The camera keeps turning off. But yeah, no, absolutely. And then we made a few more changes. Giles come on for Doughty, obviously against his former club. Woodrow come on as well for Brown. And I thought it was another, well stuck in performance from Brown. And then a bit later on, Elijah come on with 5 minutes left for Kabore. So we went a bit more attacking and tried to win the game, and we nearly did. Chio narrowly offside. Narrowly offside. I was watching it with my stepdad, obviously West Ham fan as we know, and I think he was going, yeah, it's a little bit more than me, just because he's similar to me. We deserve something, and just the way the referee was, he was a bit average. He was better than what I've seen in previous weeks, but still, not so great. And I didn't celebrate too much because I did think he was slightly offside. And he was, but unlucky, very unlucky. He was brilliant, absolutely brilliant in this game, and he's showing why he deserves to, start. But yeah, very unlucky. Yeah, and not really going to ask your thoughts on that one because you didn't quite manage to.
Well, I saw the highlights of it. Yeah, it was offside. It's well worked though, and still attacking. Again, I had to listen to it through the match of the day. No disrespect to females out here, but she was a bit. The way she was talking about us was derogatory. They're desperate here. We was playing some very good football, confident football, trying to win that game. So don't talk nonsense. But. And then the chance right at the end, possibly with Giles. But I mean, it's good. He seems to make them good runs in there, but he's just he needs to kick on. He will at some point, but he probably should be. That's what you got to do with some players. You've got to bench them until they force their way into the team, which is what Chio's done. Doughty's done. He didn't start any games initially, So and Ruddock as well, coming on early in the second half. So yeah, definitely, no doubt deserved at least a point. They probably deserved to win it.
Yeah.
But blame the penalty you want. Like we were very good in that game, and that's pleasing to see because we thought it'd be a lot closer. We got the score prediction right, but the possession and the way we went out, that's a good sign. So that's more positive than you think, and who knows, we got two other important games coming up. If we can get something out of them games, we'll be looking pretty decent.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, we got back-to-back double game weeks. When you think about it, obviously we got Exeter tomorrow, obviously Everton, and then obviously Burnley. So it's all interesting. But like you say, in the Premier League, two massive games coming up. Teams that are going to be around us. So it's going to be interesting. But overall, I agree with you. Like I said earlier, if we didn't at least get a point, I'd have been fuming because how well we played, we definitely deserve something. I see why some people are a little bit gutted that it's not 3 points, and a little bit disheartened. But at the same time, it's the first point on the board. Let's take it and try and, take momentum from it. Like Hanno said in the comments there. And that's how I see it, and it links to these games coming up. Let's try and build on something, because another thing I look at, we're still in the relegation zone, but you look at since our game, we've moved up 2 places as well. Teams have had, defeats. Obviously Sheffield United had that very emphatic loss, which as much as Newcastle, a good team, no one would have expected that. And then obviously Burnley took another defeat as well. So look at them stuff as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's all we're on the same playing field now. We got a point along with them. Before it was all about us having nothing. And, you could say we're now doing better at this current moment in time. So yeah, that is that. Let's go through some comments. Hello guys, what's up? Big up yourself, mate. I bet you're buzzing about that win. That was crazy, mate. I turned it on at 6-0. I just wanted to see what the hell was going on. and he still scored 2 more. So I bet you're absolutely loving it, mate. Great performance by Morris, anyways. Yeah, he's brilliant. I had him on my fantasy. Got me 9 points. Come on. But yeah. Big up to Jackie. She says, hi, Ty and Daz. Gary O'Neill, idiot. Yeah, his comments.
He's not going to last there. You know, I think, I don't know if I said it in the last episode or I said it to you privately. I said that Rob Edwards will out tactics, outmaneuver him with his tactics, sorry. And he did. So,
yeah,
that's what it is, really. Because there was rumours that we were looking at him, before him, and he turned us down. I don't know how true that was, but
yeah, when he was at Bournemouth, apparently.
So we'll see. But yeah, but you're gonna get more of that.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, definitely.
It comes from social media. It comes from pressure, and it feeds off on these players and that's good for us because then we can start seeing it work perfectly. There's a lot we learned from that game. A lot of positive things.
Yeah, 100%. Chris says Luton were a better team from what I watched. Wolves' goal was smash and grab for me. It was a penalty. Don't matter about deflection. Is he calling for a cab? Yeah, exactly, mate. Definitely a penalty. Yeah, everyone's saying it in here. Jackie says it as well. Geordie said it as well. Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly that. And that is how I sort of see it as well. Unless you're a keeper, your hands shouldn't really be that high. Let's be real. Stephen says definitely pen. Perfect composure from Morris. Converted nicely. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there we go with that. Stephen says best performance yet. The passing is improving. Deserved more, just not clinical enough. But points a point. A monkey off our back. Yeah, exactly. And that links to what I said about you see what Burnley and Sheffield United are doing, for example. Went up 2 places since that draw. So there's positives. First point on the board, take momentum. Build on it. And yeah, we absolutely did. And that's why I say if we didn't get nothing at all, I would have been fuming. I'll be honest. So yeah, I'm happy with the point. And yeah, that is that. So yeah, the player ratings. What we'll do, because you didn't quite manage to see all of it, Dad.
Yeah.
Obviously, we discussed it. I'll just get into them quickly by myself. And then your laptop should be updating any computer. Yeah. So if it kicks off, then you know why, and then obviously he'll be back for the Exeter game. But obviously, player ratings. Now for me, so obviously Kaminsky. Start off with Kaminsky. Done a very good double save in this game. We felt he deserved to still start. I was a bit skeptical. Do we do it again? But then the more I felt on it, I was like, yeah, because especially with that Exeter game, Tim Krul's definitely going to start in that. It makes sense. And he'd done a very good double save. They could have made it 2-0. Again, that weren't even a free kick thinking about it. So that was poor by the referee. But yeah, he done all right. His distribution, let's be real, is not the greatest. But again, for me, it doesn't really matter because even the top keepers have it. As long as he's, doing his main job, shot stopping, I'm not too fussed. And yeah, he done well. He improved. So for me, I'm going to go with I'll go with a 7.5 for Kaminsky. So yeah, that's my rating for Kaminsky there. Who you got next week? So we got massive games, mate. We've got Everton on the weekend. Obviously, we've got Exeter tomorrow, but that's in the cup. Everton on the weekend, 3:00 game again. And then we've got Burnley on Tuesday, I believe it is. The week after. So, yeah, massive games. Everton's away, Burnley's at home. So, it don't matter if they're home or away. They're massive games anyway because they're going to be teams around us. A lot of people thought Burnley would do better, but it looks like they will be around us, as well. So, yeah, there we go. Chris says, fortune surely will turn around for Luton. They'll win games. Trust me, I don't believe this nonsense and waffle. You're going to be worse than Derby. put more effort in already. Exactly. And, the thing with them as well, they were in, deep, problems, really, weren't they? And we're not, thing is, we've built a good, core around the squad, even if we are to go down, we will be in a good position next season. And I believe, if we do go down, we will be at least in the top 6 again, like we have been previous years. A couple, 1 or 2 might go, depending on how they do. But overall, we'll be in a decent position. So that's how I see it. Much better than Watford, eh? 3-0, yeah. Had to get that in. Do you know what I mean? Had to get that in. But that has officially gone for now. So his laptop, or computer, sorry. Don't know why I keep saying laptop. He's doing an update. So he'll be back when we get into the Exeter game. But the player ratings I was going to do by myself anyway, because obviously, like I said, he didn't manage to watch the game fully. So, yeah. And also, by the way, when it comes to Exeter game, we'll just do a reaction because obviously it's not available to watch unless you're at the ground and none of us are going to the game. So we will just do an overall reaction on that as well. We'll probably just link it in with the Everton game, to be honest. Maybe. I don't know. We'll decide later on in the week. So Stephen says, Team 7, not much to do. Couldn't do nothing about the goal. Yeah, the goal was a really good goal as well. So, fair enough, 7. And then he's put in other players already. But yeah, moving on to the next player, I'll go over to Bell. Very good. This was definitely his best game in that left centre-back role. And it seemed like it was like him in the Championship when he played that left centre-back role, in the sense where he had the luxury and the freedom to go forward. And yeah, it was really impressive. A massive shout out to him. I always say it, but just the way he's consistently playing, we feel he should be given a rest. But I wouldn't even be surprised. I don't want to give my lineup away fully for Exeter, but I wouldn't be surprised if he played again, even though I don't think he should, and I wouldn't put him in there. I wouldn't be surprised if he did again, because it's just constant. It's just repetitive. He keeps playing. But fair play to him, man. Fair play to him. Obviously I've said it, when it comes to connection with the fans, from what I've seen, he's got, a very good connection with the fans. And yeah, he was really good, man. He was really good. So I'll go for 7.5, especially in that position. Stephen's gone with the same. He says Bell 7.5, look back to his best this game, getting forward, playing nice, easy passes. Yeah, exactly. And he looks very composed on the ball as well, where, a lot of games at the start of the season, he was a bit nervy, wasn't he? Well, he might not have been nervy, but he looked it. So it's all interesting. Moving on to the next one, we'll go over to Lockyer. Obviously, captain. The goal, he could have done better. But other than that, I thought he done well. The red card incident, it's definitely a red card. I don't even know how Wolves fans are trying to say it's not, or even other neutrals, to be honest. Excuse me. I'll go over 7. I'll go over 7 for Lockyer. So, yeah. Again, Stephen's gone with the same. He said Lockyer 7. Solid captain's performance, just locked Neto at vital time. Yeah, exactly. I'd agree. Moving on to Burke. Again, it's going to be interesting when Osho's back. Not straight away, because Burke should still be in. But, will Osho get ahead of him, or will this be the time Burke's ahead of him? Because, the reason Burke hasn't been in previous years for me, as much as I rate Osho highly, the step up he's done, is phenomenal. I remember the times I didn't know personally what his best position was. I still don't really know, but I know he can come in and do a job. Before, I wasn't really too sure. My dad's always backed him, so fair enough. And he's always said he'll come, good. But yeah, Burke, he looked composed again for me. He looks like he can make that step up. We're saying that week upon week with him. And yeah, I thought he was decent. Again, can't really think of much he did wrong. So again, I'll go with another 7 for Burke. So yeah, there we go. Is that? Chris says Bournemouth lost 9-0 to Liverpool. Everyone said they're down and out. Look what happened. They stayed up. It's only 6 games played like Curtin, man. And the thing is, we haven't even played 6 games as well. someone was talking about it the other day, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Luton played 6 games." No, we haven't. Get your facts right before you start chatting nonsense. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on, that's a common thing. We ain't played 6 games. We literally got the rescheduled game next week, and I think we're the only team playing in that rescheduled one. Yeah, we will be because it's early on. No one else has had their games switched around, as far as I'm aware. So, what are these people waffling? Oh, there we go. Stephen says Burke 7.5 can keep Anderson the time in this performance, maybe, and yeah, grade solid. Moving on we'll go over to Kabore. This was definitely the best game I've seen of Kabore yet. You can tell Manchester City want to keep him when he's playing like that, and you can see why he's on their books. Very good. Some of his crossing was good as well. In the first couple of games, he'd make them forward runs, try and do crosses, but they'd be poor. This game, it was much better, getting stuck in, which he has been doing anyway. And I was impressed with him, man. Like I say, it's the best performance I've seen of him so far. So I'll go with a... what will I go with for Kabore? I'll go 7.5. I'll go 7.5. I know Stephen's done the same as well. It says Kabore 7.5, look quick, push forward, and got back. Solid performance. Yeah, this was the best game I've seen of him, like I said. So, yeah, big up to Manny Blues. It says big up yourself, mate. Cheers for tuning in. Big games for Luton, the teams around them. Try win your home games against them. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. With anyone really, it's the home games. It's one where it is going to come down for that to me. It's going to be similar to Nottingham Forest for me when they stayed up. When it comes down to home form, mainly. Even in certain games away, which will be difficult, with certain teams, but even the ones around us, I think if we get a point at some of them, that's good, man. So we'll see, man. We'll see that. All the Luton boys, yes, fella, big up yourself. Big up yourself as well, mate. Big up to yourself. But yeah, moving on to Doughty. Look very good, like me and my dad said. So far, he is the player of, not like I say, I'm not going to say the season because we are only 5 games in, but he's definitely, shown that he's able to make that step up. Like I said, previous weeks he wouldn't like the way he was not thrown out the team, but not starting because he was a regular for us last season. And yeah, he done really well in this game. Like I said, the crosses, especially in the first half, he was doing brilliant. And, I remember watching it, constantly when he was getting the ball and trying to cross it in, you always felt something was going to happen, or at least have a good opportunity from it. That's how I felt. So for me, I'll go with 8 for Doughty. Highest rating so far for Doughty. And then when it comes to the midfield, Nakamba, wicked. Absolutely wicked. That is the Nakamba we're used to seeing. I thought the second half of the game, he was immense. The way he was getting stuck in, covering that defence. And, yeah, he was just brilliant, man. He was brilliant. Do you know what? He's going to be my man of the match. I was really impressed with Nakamba, man. Getting stuck in. That is the Nakamba we know. So, as for a rating, because he is my man of the match, I won't go double figures, but I'll go over 9. I was very impressed with him, man. Very impressed with Nakamba. Doughty, laser pass led to the goal. Apart from that, was decent. Crossing dangerous. Yeah, his crossing was absolutely dangerous. And I hear what you're saying about the pass. I said it earlier. He shouldn't have done that pass to Nakamba. But other than that, like you say, he was brilliant. So it's one of them. Moving on to Lukonga. Again, he's getting into the swing of things. I thought he was decent. I'm not going to go super duper high for Lukonga, but I thought he was okay. I'll go over 6.5. I wasn't too impressed. I thought he was decent, but I thought Nakamba was more of a standout. So yeah, Stephen says marvelous 7.8. He was on song. Yeah, he was absolutely brilliant. So yeah. And then moving on to the so-called front three. I'll start off with Chio. Absolutely brilliant. Like I say, that goal, very unlucky that it didn't, count. Just a tad offside. But he was causing threats. He is rapid. Obviously, we know he got a record second fastest player in the Premier League this season behind Kyle Walker. But he's deserved to start. He's been knocking on the door. He was immense for Ireland in the international break just gone. Even though he didn't score, he was affecting the play. Nearly scored against France, away as well. And then obviously the game against Holland, he was very good. He was the reason they got the penalty. Shouldn't have been a penalty, but he was the reason they got it. And in them games, both games, he played different positions. The Holland game, he looked more up front, and then the game against France, he was sort of as a wing back, it seemed, sort of thing. So yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And yeah, hopefully he starts the next game against Everton in the Premier League. So yeah, Chio, very impressed with him. I'm going with a 8. Going with an 8 for Chio. And if people give him man a match, I don't blame them, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, Chris says, just check if Luton win their game in hand, they could be out of relegation zone, regardless if they lose their weekend game. Yeah, that's what I mean, mate. Points are so tight. I said it at the start of the season. For me, it's going to be similar, the bottom half of the table, to how it was last season. But yeah, mate, they're 2 games that are massive, absolutely massive, as we know. For me, if we can get any sort of result at Everton, then I'll be happy with that. It's an interesting one, Everton. Obviously, I won't get into it, but it could literally be at any type game. It depends what Everton turns up. Really, and it depends what Luton turn up. So it's interesting, man. It's interesting, but obviously we'll get into that later on in the week. Lokonga 8.5 man of the match, says Stephen. Okay, interesting. Shows what he has in locker. Some very neat passes. Fair enough. Jackie's gone with Chio, man of the match, 10 out of 10. There you go. Like I say, if people give him man of the match, fair enough. He's close for me. Followed by Nakamba and Doughty. Yeah, so you're on the same wavelength as me with Nakamba. I get idiots already laughing at my season predictions this early. They don't know it's 32 games remaining, 33 for Luton, no doubt. I'll have laugh. Yeah, exactly, mate. It's, people just do that. They think one game literally determines everything, but yeah, there's still loads of games. And to be fair, going to that, me and my dad have said it a few times, we think less games will actually benefit us as well, because in previous years in the Championship, especially this season, we didn't go up. We could have maybe finished second if we didn't have that many injuries. I remember Sonny Bradley at the time, he was massive for us, obviously captain, and he was playing really well. And he was out and it affected us, and a lot of others as well. And we still managed to get playoffs. So that was what was even more impressive as well that season. Chio 8.3, nearly my man of the match. He was rapid and was looking dangerous, scaring the fullbacks on multiple occasions. Yeah, exactly. He was. And then moving on to Brown, again, solid, was getting stuck in. And yeah, he was decent. He was decent again. I felt when he come off, it was probably needed, try and change it up a little bit. But he was decent. I'll go over 7 for Brown. And then Morris, obviously, 2 out of 2. 2 out of 2 penalties scored for him in the Premier League. 2 goals now for him this season. Not too sure how many he'll end up on, but hopefully a decent amount. And yeah, well taken penalty. Very unlucky not to score earlier on in the game. Again, he's another close man of the match for me. Unfortunate when he was in the way of the Doughty shot. It was a bit annoying because, we knew it was going to go in, but it's unfortunate. And yeah, he looked good. And yeah, like I say, it's close to getting man of the match for me. I'm going to go over 8.5. I was impressed with Morris. Very impressed. Usually he's a nailed-on starter anyway, as we know. But, this game he was a lot more effective. Not even because he scored, just chances he had, as well. So, Big up to Morris. Chris says, I've been impressed with Luton players. See, not getting wins at the moment, but it will come. They're showing they belong at this level. For me, fortunes will change once season goes on. Yeah, exactly. And hopefully this Wolves result is the start of that. And we can build on that, like I've been saying. And I believe we will, man. Especially these games coming up. They're massive games for us. So, yeah. Stephen says, Brown, a hungry run around, trying to make things happen. Yeah, no, he was good. He was good. Morris 8.1 was making things happen. Lovely footwork. Unlucky for the worldie. Oh, mate, if that went in, that would have been up there, goal of the month. Straight away, mate. Straight away. Like I say, for me, it wasn't even the shot that was. I thought the cutting was better. Oh, mate, it was very unlucky. But yeah, moving on to the substitutes. So starting off with Ruddock. Obviously, me and my dad would have started him in this game. Personally, obviously, if we could choose, I thought he was decent when he come on. He did have that shot, which was a bit wild. But other than that, he was doing the basics well. Switching play like he's been doing. So for me, I'll go with a 7. I'll go with a 7 for Ruddock. And then obviously after that, a bit later on, Giles and Woodrow come on. Giles obviously nearly had that chance at the end. For me, I'm not going to be critical because he is, he is a fullback, wing back, whatever you want to say, and he was all right. It's providing him some all right crosses into the box. I'll go with a 6.5. I'll go with a 6.5 for Giles. Woodrow, obviously come on for Brown. It's an interesting one for me. He did have a chance from what I can think of. I'll go with a 6.5 again. And then moving on to the last one, Elijah, come on with 5 minutes to go. I'll just go for 6. There's 5 minutes to go. Obviously understood the change. Definitely agreed with it because, we were trying to push and get a goal. But yeah, I'll just go for 6 when it comes to that. But yeah, they are my player ratings. Man of the match is Nakamba. So we'll go through your last ratings and then we'll bring the dad back in. Ruddock wants his place back, 7. Yeah, exactly. Similar to Doughty in the sense of he won't like the way he's not a regular now, and he is Mr. Luton, as we know, Ruddock. So, absolutely. Giles, neat crosses. Yeah, decent. It's decent. Everton, Wolves, Bournemouth are in the battle with the 3 newly promoted clubs to start up, in my opinion. Everton aren't fooling me. They turn up when they want. Yeah, that's the thing about Everton. They can have a result like they can, at the weekend, and then they'll not have a great result. They're very inconsistent. So we'll see, man. Woodrow, 6.5, just needs a goal. Yeah, absolutely. And to be fair, he has got a goal this season. I know it was against Gillingham, but still, he ain't started games, has he? So take that into account. And it's similar. It's the same with Elijah as well. He needs a goal as well, doesn't he? So, yeah. I thought he would, to be honest, though, mate. Because it is his former club. So you want to showcase your ability. No impact. It's only 5 minutes. Yeah, exactly that. But yeah, bring my dad back in now. Hello, Dad. Is it sorted?
Yeah, it's just a quick one. But I couldn't stop it.
No, fair enough. But anything else you want to say on the Wolves game, just in general, and your man of the match from what you saw?
From what I saw, I'd probably go with Morris. I think from what I saw, first 60, 65 minutes. But other players that stood out, obviously Nakamba, Kabore, Doughty, Kaminsky, took a double save. And the defence, Lockyer was okay. So yeah, that's all I can say really. And I didn't see any of Giles's performance, but yeah, we know there's better to come from him. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris says, Gio, one of man of the match nominees for Luton, but hey, no experience in the Premier League, according to Herbert's. Thing is, as well with him, obviously he was our first first signing as well of the window, and that's looking like a very good signing so far. So yeah, that's that. But getting into the Exeter game, obviously EFL Cup action is obviously back, and we are travelling away to Devon. It's about 3.5 hours away, I think, from Luton. But yeah, it's an interesting one, of course. Obviously, last round, obviously we progressed, obviously beating Gillingham 3-2. Did actually predict that game right. This one's an interesting one because the time this draw was announced, Exeter were doing very well. I think they were actually top of the league. They were at least top 2. I can't remember exactly where it was, but obviously they are obviously in League One. Obviously, we've done a bit of business with them. Obviously, we gave them Musgrave, but he's obviously injured at the moment, and obviously he can't play in this game anyway. But yeah, they're still up there. They're still in the playoffs. They're 6th. They did lose quite emphatically on the weekend, but then again, they were playing Oxford, who are currently 2nd, doing very well. And like I say, they started off all right. To the season. But the thing for me is, our second team is very good now. You look at it over previous years and you'd be like, oh, there's quite a lot that are, not that great. For example, take into account that Stevenage game away. The amount of players we were calling out that they're not good enough after the game is an example. But now you look at it and the squad depth is there, and again, it links to what I say. You need that in the Premier League. But it's a good opportunity, man. It's a good opportunity. It's going to be a very difficult game because, it's away, and Exeter, they are going to want to try and knock out a Premier League team. Who wouldn't? We've done it in previous years and stuff like that. We have that breakthrough now. Even though we were automatically in round 2, we do have that breakthrough now of progressing. Historically, before that, we haven't in previous years. So it's all interesting. This one. But how are you feeling going into this one, Dad?
I'm feeling pretty confident, as you say. The squad that we put out should definitely still be capable of being. Yeah, there is upsets and that, but we're not that poor. We're not on, other team sort of levels where their mentality is different. Ours is strong. There's certain players we're looking to try and push their way into the team that will start in this game. I think Exeter got a good manager. They've got some good players. I think they lose Numbe to Rotherham. I think that might have knocked them a little bit. They did get absolutely battered by Reading in the League Cup.
Yeah.
9. He brought the changes in. They lost their next game 3-0. So they'll be looking for a response and a performance. But I still think we're going to have enough. I can see it going over one or two ways. That it's close, similar to the Gillingham game, or a comfortable win for us, knowing the players that we're going to probably be starting, and the level we're at now, so, and the chance to progress,
Yeah.
in the Premier League. What's the worst team that we can face that we're not going to play anyway? Let's be honest. So, let's take advantage of that. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident.
Yeah. Like I say, I'm feeling pretty confident as well. Like I say, we'll be.
Never beat us.
Go on, what's that?
They've never beat us as well at home at their ground. The last time we played them, we beat 4-1. Ruddock and Potts are the only 2 players that we've still got now that we played then. That was in League 2. Played them and then we beat them. I think it was 1-0 at home. Interestingly, they had Jack Stacey playing for them. Let me find it quickly. No, sorry, they didn't. I know one about. They had they had Ethan Pandu, or whatever his name is, who's playing for Sheffield United now.
Ampadu,
They
yeah.
did have Jack Stacey. They did have Jack Stacey. I think we must have loaned him to him, or whether or Bournemouth loaned him to him. But then we had him after that, so it's a bit confusing. But yeah, and they also had Ollie Watkins on the bench as well. But yeah, just thought I'd put that in there. But for me, they're a club that are doing well. They're going, they're improving, and they've got a decent manager. But I just think that we've got enough to beat them. We should be beating them. And I think the squad team we're going to put out more than capable of beating XR.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like I say, we've got a very good record against them. We beat them 30 times. They beat us 15. Their last win against us was, obviously we don't play regularly, but we have played a few times since the last time they beat us, which was 2015 as well. So good record against them historically as well. And like you say, a lot of emphatic wins as well against them, home and away, during that time. So yeah, it's interesting. Like I say, the team versus Exeter. For me, I am going to go with a 5-2-1-2, as you can see here. And for me, it might not, well, it probably won't be what I say, but obviously this is our opinions. I'm going to go Tim Corr in goal. Obviously, that is pretty much nailed on to happen. Mad how we don't have a picture. But yeah, Tim Corr in goal. The back three. Now, for me, I'm going to say. What am I going to say? I'm going to go Burke on the right side. If Osho was back, obviously he won't be, but if he was, then I think this would be a good game to maybe not play the whole game, but give him a run out in this one. The middle, I'm going to put Anderson. Obviously, he didn't even come on at all the other day, so he's rested. He did play against Gillingham in the last round as well, which I was surprised about. A lot of players that started and were even involved in that game, I was surprised with. But it makes sense for me. And then the left side, this is where we see Mendy's debut. That's what I would like to see. Give Bell a rest, like I said earlier. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't, just because he hasn't had a rest at the moment. And I think he did play against Gillingham as well in the last round. But I'm going to go Mendy. Obviously, back then we didn't have Mendy as well. Right wing back, I am going to go. This is the worry for me. It's not a worry, but there's not quite that depth there, really. You've got Kabore and Doughty. Obviously, Chio can play there, but obviously two of them are not, fullbacks. I'm going to say Doughty. I wouldn't be surprised if other people don't, but rest Kabore, Doughty obviously scored that wonder goal in the last round as well. Obviously, he started on the left on Saturday. I'll say play him on the right. On this one, left wing back, I am going to go with Giles. Let him start this one. And then the midfield, so obviously I'm going 2 centre mids and a cam. I am going to go with. Who am I going to go with in this one? Ruddock. Start Ruddock in this one. Ruddock, Berry. I'm going to go Berry in the centre mid. And then just ahead of them, I'm going to go with Chong. Again, he didn't even come on the other day, which I was surprised about. But yeah, I'll go with Chong. And then up front, for me, I'm going with Elijah. And I'm going with Woodrow. Obviously, Woodrow scored a very good goal in the last round. So, yeah, that is my lineup that I would go with in this one. Any changes you'd make to that, Dad?
Probably not. We'll see what the formation is because, we might think, but they might play similar to how we've played. Just to get certain players used to it, possibly. But the thing is, we don't really need to be going defensively, surely, against Exeter. No disrespect to them, with the players that we've got. The only thing is, I can see potentially I don't know if Osho's back in training. I don't know how close he is. I don't think he's. If Barkley's not going to start, then Osho's not going to start. But
Yeah,
Doughty,
I think he's back in training. He's just not.
yeah, I did hear that Doughty had a knock, so I'm not sure. That's anyone possibly. I probably would put Kabore in for a half and then Chio for the second half or something like that, unless one of the youngsters gets an opportunity. Because I can see, Burke could probably just play the first half as well, and things like that. But yeah, like other than that, that's exactly probably what I'd go with. Give the other guys a rest. Elijah needs a goal. Woodrow needs a goal. So, I know he scored already, but he needs to keep pushing for that, keep being sharp, and that. A couple of goals in this game could give him a lot of confidence. So yeah, and Menji, I want to see him. I believe he'll probably start this game surely. Again, Giles just come straight back off of that. Guys were saying that he played putting some good crosses and that, and he was looking all right. Let him continue that in this game because he should be able to just pepper the box with his crosses and stuff. And Doughty's been doing it. Giles is meant to be a beast at it. We have seen glimpses of it, but I think that's a pretty strong team to be playing. XR, let's be honest.
Yeah, and it links back to what I've said. Over the years, we've looked at second teams and been like, this ain't actually that great. But since that Gillingham game, since we've come in the Premier League, you're a lot more confident. With it, that it's more than capable of progressing in the cup. So, yeah, I absolutely agree. And, a lot of these players as well, like I said, for me, I'd go with them because they didn't play at all the other day. So it just makes sense, especially seeing in the Gillingham game how many more of the main starters started than we expected. You probably see that, with the sense of the Burks,
Bell.
Yeah, even them coming on, I'm not going to be surprised because even Ross Barkley come on against Gillingham. So obviously, he's not available for this, as we know. He'll be back for Everton, but stuff like that, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Lockyers and etc. come on. But Stephen really likes to look at that lineup. He's probably very similar to me, thinking, what do I go with? But yeah, seeing that. So it's a very good lineup, isn't it, for a second team essentially. But yeah, that is that. It is that time. Obviously, score predictions. Obviously, it is round 3, not round 4, like I said last time. But how will we do, Dad? Will we progress on to the next round and be even closer to potentially the quarterfinals?
I think this is an ideal time to play XR again. Like the company has conceded, 12 goals in 2 games. So you can get at them, and then players, if they play as they can, we should be doing similar. Yeah. So I think it's the right time to play them. I do think we'll win. I'm going to go for a comfortable 3-0 win. I wouldn't be surprised if we get more, but I'm going to comfortable 3-0 win, I think.
I like that. That reminds me of, do you remember when we done that watch along to Cambridge? You saying 3-0. That's what that reminds me of. But yeah, that'd be very nice. The confidence booster even more as well. For me, I reckon it will be closer because obviously Exeter are at home. But I still think with the second team, we should be more than capable of progressing. I'm going to go similar to what it was when we played Wigan in the FA Cup away last season. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory for Luton. And for some reason, I've got a picture in my head of Woodrow's going to score. He did score the winner in that game as well. And that'd be good. But it'd be good if Elijah scored as well. Another confidence boost. Obviously, Woodrow has already got a goal, but it'd be good, for even more confidence. And Elijah, kickstart, man. We saw when he got that goal in the playoff, semi-final first leg, what that done. So hopefully he gets one tomorrow and he can build on that. But yeah, Jackie's gone even more emphatic than you, Dad. She's gone 5-0. That would be immense.
It wouldn't surprise me.
That would be immense. But again, it comes down to what you're saying. You know, squad depth is very good. You know, going into these competitions when we play the lower sort of teams now compared to what it was a couple of years ago when we played Stevenage. But yeah, anything else you want to say, Dad?
Yeah, I'd say Chong, Elijah, and Giles to score.
You can go. Your goal scorers. There we go. But yeah, like I say, obviously we'll be back again some point later on in the week. Not sure. We'll probably just do this, because like I say, we're not going to do player ratings because obviously we can't watch it. But we'll do an overall reaction. We'll probably just link it in with the Everton preview. It just makes sense, doesn't it? And obviously that'll be on Friday. Probably the same, around about the same time, 6:30. So yeah, any final things you'd like to say in general about anything, Dad?
No, I just enjoy it. I don't think we've got to the fourth round for quite a few years. So if we can, which I think we will, just enjoy it. And then the draw will obviously be on the Wednesday, probably. Normally it's the day after, isn't it?
Makes sense. After the Newcastle Man City game, yeah.
And let's hope we get a home tie. A nice home tie. It's the someone else that we'd be capable of beating. Because we could get quite far. I'd take that. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I say, if we do progress tomorrow, I think the round after the one after that is the quarterfinal, if I'm correct. So
I think what's it like a certainty? If you get certain teams who are in Europe, they are definitely not going to play their best team.
No.
They just won't do it, and it's like a free hit, especially if you're at home. It's probably trickier playing lower league opposition. Someone in the Championship who's doing pretty well. I don't know if Ipswich or someone like that is still in it. Leicester, that would be difficult. Because they've obviously still got Premier League quality. And I'd take Southampton. Oh, they got knocked out, didn't they?
To Gillingham, yeah.
Yeah, and they're struggling. I don't think Ross and White is the right man for the job there. But
I agree.
It is what it is. But someone along them lines, the home tie will be nice. But yeah, enjoy it. Like we should be putting this game to bed. To be honest. Yeah,
I'd say you'd say that based on the amount of goals they've conceded, like you said earlier recently, it is a good time to play them. And yeah, hopefully it is a home tie if we do progress, because then I can go to it. There you go. It'll be another match day vlog, hopefully. So yeah, I was about to say obviously it's going to be difficult for me as we know I'm not season ticket holder, but yeah, Chris has gone 3-1 Luton. Yeah, nice. I'll take that. Any sort of progressing, mate, we take that. Yeah, that's what we'll probably do. I'll probably do that. I'm sure you're the same, Dad.
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah, thanks for letting us know anyway. Great stream as always, lads. Big up yourself, Chris, mate. Big up yourself. Yeah, it does. Exactly. It could be a confidence booster. And like I say, for players like Elijah as well, when he had that in the, semi-final, when he got that goal in the first leg, you saw the confidence it done. You saw what he done in the final. So stuff like that as well, and he might just hit a lot of form and then you might have to put him back in, maybe, So we'll see, man. But yeah, that is that. But yeah, big up to everyone that's tuned in. That is episode 120. Hit another milestone when it comes to episode numbers of The Hat Show. And yeah, we're currently on 14 likes. So big up. I know a few people watch back on playback as well, so smash the like there. Do subscribe to the channel if you are new. We did get a new subscriber the other day as well, so big up to yourself, whoever that was. And a lot of people were liking before we went live as well, so big up to yourselves for that. Like I say, we'll be back again on Friday. We won't do it separate because, like I say, we won't be doing player ratings, so we can't watch the game. So we'll just do that, and then obviously we'll get into the Everton game. And then, yeah, obviously we'll be back again. I think the Burnley game is on Tuesday, if I'm correct. So we will be doing another one on Monday again. So literally Hatter shows upon Hatter shows, but it's good. It's good to do. other than watch alongs and match day vlogs, one of my favourite things on the channel. So there we go with that. But yeah, smash a like, subscribe. If you want to follow me across any of my socials, link to them in the description. And yeah, subscribe to the other channel as well, T-Boys TV Extra. Try and get to 100 subscribers on that pretty soon. We're on 82 at this current moment in time. So, yeah. And then until Friday, and obviously we'll react to the draw if we do progress as well on Friday alongside it, of course. So, yeah, till then, take care. Peace.